Did you ever ask yourself why there are a lot of people who have different identity with you? Where do they come from and why do they move to the US? I am an immigrant. I come from Vietnam. The reason that inspired me to make a move to the US is to seek economic opportunities. After 3 years as being an assistant manager for my family business, I decided to come back to college with major computer science. As we know, the US history has come from immigrants. Because of it, nowadays the United States is the #1 rank of economic life standard and the even multicultural races and ethnicity. To keep this good work, I believe the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter the US legally for several reasons. First, the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter the US because immigrant benefits economic America. Second, the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter the US because immigrants play a role as citizens in support the US system. Third, the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter the US because it could be easier to control and be less crime rate. Let's go deeper in this controversy. First, the federal government should make it easier for immigrants to enter the US because immigrant benefits economic America. According to Gold Steven in the article Immigration Benefit America, in the September 2009 issue of Society stated that these foreigners have jobs with high wages and prestige such as scientists, technicians, engineers, professors. There were 27% of immigrant population had a BA or higher degree. 40% of PhD scientists working in the US are foreigners. Also, 52% of technology startups in Silicon Valley come from them. This number tells us that foreigners urge our economy to skyrocket in the world. Immigrants also develop America by low-skill jobs. McCarthy in the article, the industry with the most immigrant workers in the March 2017 issue by Statista showed that the immigrant population took over 17% of US population in 2014. It included 20 million legally and 8 million were unauthorized. They took 46% of private household, 36% of textile manufacturing, 33% of agriculture, and 30% of food manufacturing. In fact, low-skill jobs that many people look down and do not want to do, but still need to get it done. So imagine how things will be going on if we skip this job and go to work high-skill job only. We probably wouldn't have a piece of salad for a burger because there are less people planted, or factories need workers to do tasks, but now no people to do it. In this case, we can see with our number of immigrant labor, the society function maybe doesn't run smooth anymore. Moreover, as covered in the article How Immigrants Create More Jobs in the October 2010 issue by New York Times demonstrated that no-skill job immigrants usually fill the gaps in American labor. It strengthens economic well-being and social network. It was known as complementary worker. As a result, the federal government should not deny immigrants enter to help our economic developing. Second, the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter the US because the immigrants play a role as citizens in support the US system. We know the fact in which paying taxes is a straight way that citizens show appreciation and responsibility to the country. However, immigrants also take the chance to show their respect to the country they live in. Gold Steven in the article Immigration Benefits America stated that immigrants deliver 1 to 10 million each year to native-born Americans. President George Bush Council of Economic Advisors determined that 90% of the US-born population benefited economically from the presence of immigrants. Not only legal immigrants also show their respect, but also undocumented immigrants take action to devote. So check in the newspaper, undocumented immigrants are paying their taxes today too. In the April 2019 issue by CNN pointed out that millions of federal taxes dollars are paid every year by people who do not have social security number at all. In 2010, for example, the Social Security Administration estimated that payments from unauthorized workers accounted for about 12 billion in tax revenue for Social Security. Therefore, by the responsibility they took for, the federal government should give immigrants a chance to become civilians. Third, the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter the US because it could be easier to control and less crime rate. According to David Green in the article, the Trump hypothesis testing immigrant population as a determinant of violent and drug-related crime in the U.S. in the September 2016 issue by Social Science Quarterly said that Mr. Trump linked undocumented immigrants associated with crimes such as rape, violence, but also the article stated that there was no reliable evidence to support his point. Regardless to this issue, why don't we have another option but insist to stop them coming in illegally? We could let these foreigners come in, but we imply some policy to help them live as confirmed citizens, so they could help to develop our nation stronger by fulfilling the workforce and paying taxes, rather than we spend a lot of money to prevent them from getting in. Our nation could be happier and more united if we give them a chance to enter legally. According to the article, Immigration in 2020, issued by Girl, argued that there were many protests that happened across the nation in 2018 when Mr. Trump ordered the U.S. Department of Justice adopting a zero policy for illegal entry into the country. Under the policy that made parents and children separated around the country, and then later the policy was repealed, but left more than 5,400 children had been separated already. It left us a bad feeling when we thinking about that event, but we could avoid this event happen again by making other choice better, such as we create policy to let them get in and live happily, and in exchange they help our nation become greater. In the last few minutes, let me move on, wrapping up all detail for you. First, I mentioned Immigrant Benefits America. Remember, I told you about over 27% have a BA or higher degree, and 40% of PhD in US are immigrants. Besides, over one-third of the workforce of low-skilled jobs. Then I stated immigrants are paying taxes to show appreciation and responsibility. For example, since 2007, legal immigrants paid each year at least 1 to 10 billion, and in 2010, undocumented immigrants contributed to nation taxes over 12 billion. Lastly, I explained that it could be easier to control and less crime rate that relate to immigrants by letting them in and imply some policy. From all this point above, I believe that immigrants deserve to get a chance being our people. So the federal government should make it easier for more immigrants to enter legally. And in the aftermath, we could have a better economic, a better life, and better nation. Let's do it.